Strength training progression number 1, we're going to go through 4 exercises that you can do to start off with developing some foundational strength and stability. All right, so these are some exercises that a lot of people skip over, but they're really essential into building that firm base that you can always build on top of. All right, so we're going to start off with this progression lying down. And so the first exercise we're going to do is called supine transverse abdominis bracing. All right, so supine means lying on your back. All right, the transversus abdominis is a muscle that basically is like a corset. It wraps around your whole torso. All right, it's your deepest abdominal muscle and it attaches to your spine. So it's what really creates core stability. So we need to make sure that that muscle is active. It doesn't have to be super strong, but it just has to turn on when we want it to. All right, so a lot of times we have the outer muscles that are overactive and the transversus abdominis, or the TA, is not active. And so we lose out on core stability. So it may seem simple, but it's very essential for core stability. All right, and so what we'll do is we'll start off on our back with this one. You can do it in different positions, but I do recommend starting on your back. So I'll demonstrate it here. All right, so come onto the floor, or you can do this on your bed or on a couch or whatever works for you. All right, and you're gonna lie down on your back with your knees bent and your feet planted on the floor. All right, just to a comfortable distance between the feet, maybe about hip width apart, and then the heels further away from your bottom so that you feel comfortable and you're not squished. All right, now you can place your hands on the floor if you want, but ideally you can place your hands on your lower abdomen. And what you're gonna do is draw the abdomen in and up. All right, and so it's just holding for 10 seconds, breathing, and then relax. All right, now what you might find is that it's easier to do when you hold your breath, and you can do that at first, but you really wanna not get in the habit of holding your breath pretty much at all. All right, so you draw the belly button in towards the spine and then up towards your head at the same time. And then you breathe, hold for 10 seconds, and then relax. All right, you don't want to push your low back against the floor, okay? So you want to keep your spine neutral. All right, so it's keeping your spine just natural. Draw the belly button in and up, all right, without tilting the pelvis down. You see the difference is if I tilt down, that activates the outer abdominals. We're trying to avoid that for now. Instead, we want to activate the deep transversus abdominis, or the TA, we call it for short. All right, so that's the first one. You'll hold for 10 seconds and do 10 repetitions. Now, I'd recommend doing this for at least a couple days, and then you can do it sitting or even standing, but lying down is the best to really learn how to activate the right muscles. All right, and then so since you're in this position, we can go right on to the next exercise, which is called supine bridging. Once again, supine is just lying on the floor. And so you can stay in the same position. This time you can place your hands on the floor if you want, and then press down through the feet, lifting the pelvis up off the floor. And as you come up, you can even squeeze your buttock muscles, and then come back down. All right, so coming up, and then coming down. All right, so just doing 10 repetitions. This one you don't have to hold. You can hold it to make it harder in the future, but just do at least 10 reps just to see how it feels. You can always progress, later on. All right, and so you're pressing down through the feet. You can use your hands if you need to, but try not to use your hands if you don't need to. And then you're coming up, squeeze your butt muscles, and then come back down. Okay, that's called the bridge. It's really important. It strengthens the glutes, the hip muscles, which is really important for power and stability and strength. All right, and so the next exercise, so you do that 10 times as well. And all of these things, just start off with doing them once a day, 10 reps each, and then you can work your way up to 2 to 3 times a day if you want, but you really don't have to. And then with strength, you can do them every day. You can take a day or 2 off too. All right, the next exercise is called the straight leg raise. This works the quadricep muscle, which is really important for knee stability and can even help with pain. So if you have knee pain, strengthening this muscle can really help relieve that pain for many people. I can't guarantee, but it usually helps. All right, so straighten one leg out and place it flat on the floor. And so what you're gonna do here is you're gonna squeeze your quadricep muscle by straightening your leg out as much as you can. And then you're gonna lift the leg up until it's parallel with the other thigh that's still bent, and then come back down. All right, once again, you can use your hands if you need to, but try not to if you don't need to. You're gonna do 10 repetitions, keeping the leg as straight as you can. All right, so you don't wanna be bending it when you come up. Keep it as straight as you can, and even if you only come up a little bit, that's okay. But if you can come up to parallel, then that works more of the quadricep muscle, and you're also working your hip flexor, and so that's gonna be helpful for hip strength as well. All right, so 10 times on one side, then bend the knee, and then straighten the other leg, lay it flat, keeping the muscle engaged, the quadricep, the front of the thigh, lift the leg, parallel to the other. All right, so you don't want to go past the other leg, so you don't want to bring it way, way up, okay? So you just want to go just to where you get parallel with the thigh, and then come back down. All right, so that's the straight leg raise, really important for knee stability and leg strength. All right, and then the final exercise we'll do is called the clam shell. So this is one of the most important, but also one of the most difficult exercises to do. All right, so you're gonna bend your knees, and you can place your head on your hand. You can even use a pillow. Sometimes that's really helpful to put a pillow here so you're not straining your neck. All right, so I'll give you a second to go get a pillow. And so when you get your pillow, you can pause this if you want and get one. And then once you get your pillow, then you come into the side lying position. Okay, and so you want your knees bent, okay, so you don't want them way back, so bring them up a little bit here. You want your hips stacked on top of each other, so not lying back and not too far forward. Okay, so you just want your hips stacked, so if you were to have like a pole, it would go right through one hip and then right through the other, so they're nice and aligned. All right, so this one's called the clamshell because what you're doing is you're opening up the legs like a clamshell and then come back down. Now, can you see how I'm not rocking my pelvis? Okay, see how my pelvis is still, the only thing that's moving is really my leg. Okay, so I'm not using my momentum to rock back like so, and I'm not coming forward and trying to come up, although that's better than than going backwards. But try to just stay straight and just lift the leg up and come back down. And you should feel it likely in the side of the hip. You might feel it in the thigh too, depends on where it's weakest. All right, you might have some tightness somewhere too, and that could be where you feel it. But overall, if you work this to start, this starts to activate the gluteus medius. So this muscle is really weak on most people, just in general, because we tend to overcompensate by using other muscles and overworking those ones instead. So it's kind of like the TA muscle where we don't use it, and it's really important for stability. All right, so you do 10 reps on one side, then you just turn over and you do 10 on the other. All right, once again, stack the hips, bend the knees, feet together. Make sure your head's neutral, resting on a pillow, nice and relaxed. And then from here, just lift up the knee and then come back down. 10 repetitions, not rocking back or forward. Just try to stay nice and stable. Doesn't matter how high you go. If you try to go too high, then you will rock. So don't worry about going high. It's better just to go up a little bit if you can stay stable, because that's training the right muscle. That's what we're trying to do. Is we're just trying to get the right muscles activated because they're basically sleeping for most people. Call it gluteal amnesia. They forgot how to work. All right, one more time, 10 reps, and then that should do it. And so that right there is training progression number 1. So I hope you enjoyed learning that strength training progression. So make sure to click on the link right here to the next video, and I'll tell you the best way where you can continue with your Tai Chi and traditional exercises, the best of Eastern and Western health and wellness.